Hello everybody, welcome back to AI War Fleet Command, the Fallen Spire Pure Redux. And we've gone forward about another hour and a half here, 3.5 hours into the game. We've done a few different things. We have the whole first inner circle now complete. We've got our Mark IV Plasma Siege starships, and I expanded out here too, and that was just to divide up really the AI reinforcements a little bit. So now I've got a couple Mark II systems in Sibilla and Kashyyyk, excuse me, along with Pallas. So it's just dividing them up a little bit so they aren't quite so hard to break through. We also done quite a bit more scouting, as you can see out here. Now here in Hygeia, we're probably eventually going to want to take this one. It's got the Zenith Reserve Mark V, which I eventually will probably be ignoring again. But the backup design server there has the munitions booster. So that answers one of my questions, which is, do I need to put the research into starships? And I don't. If I'm going to get the munitions booster, definitely prefer to have that given the choice between the two. And of course the reason for that is it gives a much bigger boost if you level it up. Unfortunately, we have not found any more advanced factories. The super terminal is here, which would be really interesting for me under normal circumstances, but I don't think I really care about it that much in this game. We do have a couple more data centers. I think one's in here with Bespin with our first advanced research station. Yep. The other one is over here in Fortuna, so we're eventually going to want to hit those. And we've also done the initial actual elements of the Fallen Spire campaign. Of course, the first one just tells you more about the signals. The second one gives you the subspace receiver, so you can scan for more. Third one gets us the refugee outpost, and we had a good location here. You notice that, I mean, last time it was off in the middle of nowhere in the system. This one I was able to put it right in our line of turrets, almost directly. It couldn't quite put it all the way more over there, but I also put up another force field over this area for it. And we got our first 4 Spire frigates. So they are not spectacular, obviously, but it's a start. And then the fourth one got our colony ship. Now, all of these were generated in our territory. I think the farthest one away was Mercury, because the first few goes for 2 hops away, and now it's going to shoot for 3 hops away or so. So even as we get the additional Spire cities, they should all spawn in our territory. For the last one, their attack was pretty equal to our defenses. So we're going to need to continue upgrading our attacks probably before we go too much further. And of course, as soon as we use the colony ship, that's a really key point in the campaign, because that's when they're going to start their regular exo waves. So I don't want to do that before I have to, and I don't think I have to yet. I'm not certain, but I don't think I do. Research-wise, see, we don't have that much knowledge. We've moved most of the way around the ring, gathering up knowledge where we can. We're in Sedna. We've still got Mercury and MJ12 that we can gather it from. And I think maybe Falcorum. Yep, we can gather from Falcorum as well. So that would be 10,000 and change that we still have to use. We're all the way up on, if we pop in, let's take a look at the station itself. It's probably floating out here. Yep. So if we look at our turrets, I've gotten the first level of heavy beam cannons. I'm going to be pushing those higher. We're all the way up on the laser turrets, and I've deployed those on our choke point worlds. You can see there's our plasma siege starships there. And we haven't yet gotten the Mark III engineer drones. We do have all of the scouts. I don't remember if I had done that before. And then not worrying about any of these for the moment. I may want to get the blade spawners, spend some on munitions boosters, whatever, later. But I'm trying to limit how much of that I go for. I am going to probably want to boost up the tractor beam turrets because we're starting to run low on those. So I'll probably have to go that way. And eventually level up other turrets as well. But I want to make sure, of course, that we get everything else that's more crucial for the end game out of the way first. And then around the time that I got that first colony ship, we did hit our first CPA. So I could just start building Spire cities, but I don't really want to do that yet. And one of the reasons is I want to have sort of all my ducks in a row before I do that, if I can. If not, I'll build 1 or 2 of them and then just hold there, and then try to outrace the increasing waves to the end, so they aren't maxed out when you go for the transceiver. And when you do that at the end, you have to, it generally will generate it, as it did last time. I believe it always generates it on one of the core worlds. Well, that's a problem because we don't know where those are. I want to be able to get there quickly and not have to bash my way through things and set up new colonies and all of that at that point. We really need to have everything scouted and set up before we're making that rush to the end game. So that's why I don't want to do that now. I think I definitely am going to want Yavin and MJ12 be a couple of the Spire worlds. And probably either Radislava or Palace, depending on which way it works out better. But there's going to need to be more than that. We need to expand more. So I think I just want to have my fleet sort of grind through some of these, get to Fortuna, get that data center, and get more scouting done. I'm probably just going to have to try to smash through. And there's going to be a limit to how much I can do that without getting more Spire ships. I don't think I'm near that limit yet, but there definitely is going to be a limit at some point at which it's simply, I'm going to need more firepower. So that's the main thing now, to see if I can get out further, and I would really like to get an advanced factory. We haven't found one yet. 3 out of 6 rings, so there's 3 more rings left out here to scout. I can't get any further than this without doing a bunch of tachyon raiding, and to do tachyon raiding I really just got to go in and knock out the black hole machines, which I would rather capture and use later for my defense. So there's a whole bunch of complication because of the black hole machines in actually getting all of this scouting done. So it's just a lot of time-intensive grinding through the enemy systems, if you will, going on. Well, we're now about 40 minutes later, 4 hours 20 minutes in, and for once, my plan went exactly as I intended. I was able to march. Sibylla took a bit, and then Eris and Sylvia fell pretty quickly. Didn't take a huge amount of time in between systems. And then I knocked out the Tachyon Sentinels in here, the Tachyon raid in Eunomia. Mark IV ion cannon made that kind of important. And then I sent out the scouts again. And the next system they hit, literally, was the one I'm looking for. Factory system down here in Hektor. And we'll also get Mark V Raider when we get there. But the Mark V Raider starship, not as concerned about that. See the Special Forces alarm? Well, that's a different thing. There we go. Now, we've seen the regular alarm post, but this one will alert all Special Forces ships in the entire galaxy. In a normal game, that's a pretty significant deterrent, because the only way to stop it from doing that, the alarm's going to hit if I knock out this system or an adjacent system's command station. The only way to stop it is to knock out that post itself, which is going to cost me 15 AI progress. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It won't be too long until we don't have to worry about AI progress anymore. Now, I thought more about where I want to build everything. I think I've got up where I want 4 of the Spire cities. But I also think I'm eventually going to want to take this entire second ring and probably parts of the third one. And I'll get to why a little bit later on in the game. But I don't know which systems, for the most part, I'm going to want to take out here. And in order to know that, I've got to grab this. Now, the other thing is, the road is not easy. Eunomia is okay. Then all of these are from the AI that has the black hole machines on its planets. And also we've got Ion Eye, Plasma Eye, Ion Eye again, and then in here. And so I think I'm either going to need to grab transports and go in, and then I'd still have to take out the black hole machines, and some of them have force fields around them. So I think rather than spend the knowledge on researching assault transports, I'm just going to literally pound my way through. But I don't want to do that the whole way, because this is 5 hops from my territory, which is one too far. I would start getting threat, and I wouldn't mind accumulating some threat in general. There's a whole bunch of mini pods in there that are cloaked. That's what most of that is. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. It's going to be quite a lengthy fight in here, most likely. I've got a Mark II ion cannon, so most of my fleet ships won't be good. I'll be using my starships, may have to rebuild some things, go back in, etc. So I don't want to be accumulating a whole bunch of threat during the whole time I'll need to take over the system. I've got to take something on the way. And I don't like Eunomia because of the position of the wormholes here. They're just not convenient. If we parked a command station right in here, it'd be coming at us from two different directions. Fortuna's really close to Sylvia. What I think I want to do, though, is I do want to take Eunomia, and then I'll just park the command station somewhere out there. I won't try to use it as a choke point system. I'm just going to take it to extend my supply and move out. It does give me a couple of Mark III systems on alert, but I'll live with that. This one's also on alert, so we've got somewhat higher Mark ones, but on the other hand, we're spreading it out a little bit more. So I'm going to live with that for now, but my main goal is get to Hektor. Take Hektor, get the Mark IV Scout, and then I can figure out everything else, figure out where their home worlds are, what my plan is, exactly which systems I want to take, which ones I don't, how am I going to get to their coprocessors, the other two, wherever they are, what data centers are about, and how am I going to get to those, all of that kind of stuff. Get set up so that I'm ready, can get all my ducks in a row, and then make my run at the end game. So Hektor here is a huge, huge target. Well, it took another 2 hours. Partly due to my mistakes, but mostly due to AI resistance. But we have made it to Hektor. Bounce through all of these black hole machines, and as a result, AI progress is up. It's about to go up higher, because of course we've got to knock out that Special Forces alarm post and the station in here. Now when we finally did get in here, the first time in, a total wipe. Lost everything, had some AI reprisals of course, and then we had to come back, and it's kind of interesting getting in here of course because you've got constant reinforcements coming in along the path. But we have smashed everything in here, as you can see. They've just got command stations. Everything else is gone. Here's our deal, and basically what's happening here is the frigates are being heroes. Now I've got some significant damage. This is our main group. You can see the frigates have taken significant damage. One of our riot controls is gone. One of our raid starships is gone. The plasmas and the flagships, the bombers, all of those still around, and the leeches have taken some significant damage. But the bottom line is, you can see the frigate shots here, and when there's more ships, they really do a nice job of cutting through them. It's almost like in a movie if you see a helicopter in a desert battle, or one of the old, World War II prop-style planes where the bullets are just like almost cutting furrows in the ground. That's kind of what happens here with the frigates when more ships show up. They just sort of cut through the formation, cut little rows in them. And there you can see them firing away. Now I want to get this implosion artillery before it kills me too much. Please. But then I've got the blade spawners behind there. Come on. Kill it. There we go. Now come back down here. And I'm basically having the blade spawners take out all of the guard posts so we don't take too much damage, and then this group doing interference like we saw in Sindai. We could take these out with our fleet, but they're laser guard posts Mark IV. They're pretty hefty. So I want to avoid that as much as I can. And they keep sending in stuff. Now, the reason I had a wipe when I came in here was not because of the system defenses. No, it was not. It was because of their special forces groups. They really took exception to us attacking a Mark IV system. Imagine that. Can't figure why that might have happened. And they just came in here with dozens of riot controls and a whole bunch of their fast, higher mark ships. A lot of these fighters and bombers and whatnot from the Reds. And then you can see, yeah, they've had quite a few armor boosters show up. So all of that happened. Yeah, let's get that. Hold on just a second. Let's get that Lightning Guardian. It's moving kind of fast. I want to make sure I target it. There we go. And so far, I think I'm doing pretty well at protecting the blade spawners while they do their bit. And I've noticed something, you just saw it here, but like, these are the mini Spire rams, and they tend to like to do a little bit back and forth stuff. I've noticed that a lot more with the black AI than the red AI, and I'm not particularly sure why. Oh, goody. Mark IV munitions booster, go away. Of course, we don't, come on. Yeah, they almost took out one of my spawners. So we are not at all infinite here. Oh, look, a cross-planet attack. Won't that be fun? So I'd like to finish this up and get set up in here before that happens, if at all possible. But you can see they're still trickling in. And I noticed before where some of them are coming from. Some of them are coming from Naboo, and they're just sort of shifting in this way. That's the nearest Mark IV planet. So this is an area where the AI was not comfortable with just saying, alright, you beat us, you can have that. They're really taking exception to it. They're continuing to send ships in. Yeah, I think we've got to try to move out just a little bit further. But we are gradually in between their respawnings and all of that. We're taking these down. That one's down by a third, down by a quarter, down by a little bit. Once that Special Forces goes, they'll stop attacking that. So this is working. It just has a lot more to go. Here's Command Station. Shield Guard Post, that's down to 29%. And once that goes, I can consider just taking out the Command Station itself and, just setting up my own turrets. Of course, it's very obvious where I'm going to want that. Right down here with the factory and the fabricator. Please? Okay, yeah, now they're hitting the tachyon stuff and then they're releasing those ships. So this is taking some doing, and meanwhile that CPA counts down with most of my heavy forces in here, and you can see 1,300 ships. That's not a rinky-dink thing. We're up into tech level 2. Now, tech-wise, I have unlocked all of the regular shields and also Mark 1 of the hardened ones because I just needed more shields for my planets. Probably have to get another level of hardened eventually. I've got all the key stuff I need for the endgame. I'm all the way up on the heavy beam cannons. Already was there on the lasers. I've got the Mark III engineer drones now. I haven't deployed any yet because I haven't needed them, but they are available. So all of that is going well. And we're down now to working on the 4 Mark IV laser turrets. And I think we're going to be able to. We're taking very small amounts of damage as all of this goes on. Overall, their reinforcements and everything have slowed down some. I think I've bled off their special forces for the most part. And now all we're getting is sort of the incremental as they are reinforced amounts. And now we got one of these getting into the red, which of course makes me very happy. Only 8 minutes and change on that CPA. I don't know if we're going to make this here. Let's head over this way and just clear those out a little bit quicker. Alright, I think it's time to bring that transport in and see if we can set up in here. We only have like 7 minutes. It's going to be close. And we have gotten what we came here for, but there's definitely a considerable but. The CPA is going to hit in less than a minute. We're just about to get our shield up here, after which I'm going to build more defenses. So I think we're going to survive in here, but there's definitely no time to be wasted. Now, the Special Forces alarm post, I actually decided to ignore it. Because they'd been sending so many special forces in here, I figured they didn't have many left. And that's true. They didn't bump our threat or anything. So we were able to save that AI progress by doing that. And sort of a painful way of clearing it out in here, but it did work for us. We also have that Mark IV Scout already built. I think it's still in Yavin heading off on its way. Yep, I've got it set to auto-explore though. So this is going to head off and do its thing, and that's going to take quite a while, but that's going to happen. So we've got to secure this. I think we'll be successful doing that. We got to fight off this second CPA. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to wait for all this exploring, and it seems to me a good time to break off here, as we will have a lot of busy work. We'll be doing this. We will be hacking this for those munitions boosters, And look, 666 ships. Now, I thought about that tractor platform, but general advice is basically a big, slow-moving ship with tractor beams. General advice is it's a much better ship for the AI than human, so I'm going to leave that alone. Just get this. I'll probably eventually, maybe soon, maybe later, do some hacking for knowledge we're going to need for the late game. But we are well on our way, and now we just need to find out what else is going on in the galaxy and formulate our plan moving from here, exactly what we're going to take leading up to progressing with building the Spire cities. So the rest of that scouting and certainly many other things I'm sure will be up next time. Till then, thanks for watching. More AI War will continue.